Thank you to Crappy Kazoo for our new theme music. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, kind of, to Doctor Who Reviews. I say kind of because we have a situation here. You might notice this is not the 100th episode, this is not the live stream broadcast on Twitch. We do have a very good reason for that, because unfortunately, something has happened in real life, and I won't go into the details because it's not my place to tell them, but our very good friend Freezing Inferno has had a family tragedy occur, so obviously he will not be around online for as many weeks as he needs to recover from it. So we are holding off the 100th episode till then.
Let's say the foreseeable future. And of course, be sure to be kind. Don't go bothering him on Twitter or anything. Just leave him alone. He's working through it. He's fine.
Yeah.
Just,
The foreseeable future is right, yeah. We're not going to put a date on this because, honestly, compared to this, it's not important. But we didn't want to just do nothing, and we also didn't want to mess with the episode order. So this is not a proper podcast. This is more like a sort of a companion piece to a previous podcast we did on the Australian series K9.
This is me blackmailing Rainiac into watching more of this series.
You don't need to blackmail me. It's not that bad.
No, it's not at all. I love this series so much.
Well, one of the episodes not so much, but on the whole, it's not that bad.
One of these episodes is a bit of a stinker,
and maybe we'll get to that today. Oh yes, we will. You've just given it away. Thanks for that.
But yes, we're diving back into my new favorite Doctor Who spinoff, K9, the Australian series. For those who may have missed the last episode that this happened with, essentially I found out about this because I was looking for some information about K9, and I happened upon a YouTube link called K9 Regeneration. It was called Regeneration.
Yeah, that was the first one.
And it turned out in this episode it was a brand new K9 series made in Australia for Australian preteens, where K9 came in through a time and dimensional portal, was promptly blown up, reformed into a new copyright-free form, where he proceeded to go on several adventures with a bunch of kids. We watched the first 3 episodes, which were kind of one episode in total, like a 3-part of the single story. And now we're getting into the story proper with the first story, which is our 4th episode.
Yes. The Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
I mentioned a little bit about this at the end of the main podcast we did on K9, but this is rather good. I mean, I would now say that these are Monster of the Day type episodes.
Very much, yes.
Or Threat of the Day. We had the 3-parter as you mentioned, and now it's just like individual things. But there are sort of elements that do come forward later in the series.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, just to put it in perspective, as Rainiac said, this is a Monster of the Week. What happens is there is a professor in this, Professor Griffin. He's trying to create a space and time portal that will actually work for a section of the government called the Department. The Department is every single fascist stereotype trope that you could think of rolled into one. So they're trying to do this. He's trying to get back his family, which is explained in like the first episode, I believe. It might have been the second one. But they're just trying to get this thing to work, and of course wacky misadventures happen where things randomly come through the portal, or something already exists there and happens and they get involved with it. So that's the basic plot line of all these episodes, is something happens, the kids in K9 deal with it.
It's almost a bit like child-friendly Torchwood. A little bit.
Yes. Essentially. It's Doctor Who light, so it's a little bit more for kids than Doctor Who may be. Although this series still deals with a lot of different weird shit. For example, we have our current episode, The Bounty Hunter, which deals with assassination attempts.
Yeah. Xanthus Pyre, this alien peacekeeper called Xanthus Pyre, and he dead. He's super dead.
Yeah.
He
So
he,
when
he
K9
burning.
came through the portal, he lost his memory. And Griffin is trying to restore that. So we see, actually, Xanthus Paya there telling someone, well, telling the camera, really, to leave immediately, that assassinating him will get nothing, and peace shall reign, and then it cuts out there.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
While this is going on, Stark is outside with K9, and a Ferris wheel is running amok.
Yep. It has, the speed control has gone on, and its final destination up in this bitch, so place your bets.
There is a
Seriously,
great
that's
line.
exactly what I thought of was Final Destination. So.
There is a great line here because one of the mother of the children that are trapped on the wheel, she's like panicking, understandably panicking, and then the robot coppers turn up, the CCPCs. These are sort of like the robotic enforcers of the department, and a recurring villain called Inspector Drake. And she's trying to get through to talk to Inspector Drake. She's like, "Those are my children." The cops go, "We'll be the judge of that, missus."
See, they do genuinely have some pretty decent humor in this.
They shouldn't be funny though. They're like fascist robotic enforcers, but they're funny.
I know the CCPCs, which is the hardest thing to say. Let's call them the Robo Bobbies. The Robo Bobbies are freaking hilarious most of the time.
Because they're speaking this very bad Cockney accent as well.
Yeah, they do. And they're like super sassy as well, and it's kind of weird. It's like, why would you want your robot cops to be this sassy?
Basically, imagine an Australian trying to do a Cockney accent and you've got the CCPCs down.
Pretty much, yes.
It's not in this episode, it's in the three-parter, but there's a bit where we talked about it, I laughed about it back then, I'm going to laugh about it again now, where Stark is in jail, an alien comes to sort of get him, and one goes, "Oi, what's going on here? Hello!" Just gets tossed to one side.
Because honestly, they're not the real threat here. The real threat is the department itself and what it means for everybody.
Well, they enforce the department's will, it's that they enforce it really, really badly.
Oh yeah, sure. They're still dangerous. It's just that they're not as dangerous as they seem that they could be, if that makes any sense.
But this, anyway, is it turns out to be one big hoax, because Drake's here, television cameras are here.
Surprisingly, before anybody called them. I wonder how that happened, Drake.
Which Starkey, who's our main protagonist other than K9, immediately realizes. So he and K9 sneak into the cab of the Ferris wheel, the controls of the Ferris wheel, and there's a bomb here, but the bomb is completely non-lethal. It's basically food.
Yeah, I believe K9 analyzes it, and Starkey puts together all the compounds that he gets, and it turns out it's plasticine.
I think there's also like corn flour, and so it's rigged to explode but not do any damage.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole idea is that there was supposedly a quote-unquote bomb threat. If they tried to slow down the Ferris wheel, then the bomb would go off. But surprisingly, all the CCPCs are just standing there, not doing anything. So
it's speed then, but with a Ferris wheel.
And an ineffective bomb. So.
Which Starkey walks out with, and the crowd starts applauding, and then they're like, "Right, we want to work with you." And he just throws the bomb to the robot cop. I wanted it to explode in his face. It doesn't.
That would have been funny. That would have been really funny.
I kind of expected that with these incompetents, but yeah. But while this is all going on,
he manages to foil the plot.
Griffin's about to have a close encounter because his time warp thing, I think they're called the STM officially, but the Rift, the warp device, activates, and out steps this alien who looks like Kano from Mortal Kombat.
He has the most badass design, and it's fantastic.
I love this guy's costume. Like, it's low budget, it's simple, but the facial tattoo really makes him stand out.
Oh, yeah.
You can just tell this guy's bad news just by looking at him.
And it's like he's not a dumbass either. He's a fairly smart guy,
No, he's
but he's also
intelligent.
capable of being he's capable of being civil because Griffin is like panicking because this dude just tried to choke him out, and says, "Hey, do you want a cup of tea?" And he's just like, "Okay, sure," and has a nice cup of tea with Griffin, while asking about K9 and if he's seen any sort of mechanical dog.
He's also the first alien antagonist that we've had that can actually speak English.
Yeah.
Because the Jixon couldn't,
Well, so far.
the Miron could. Yeah, well, chronologically, anyway, yeah. The fish person, the Miron couldn't. The Corvan certainly couldn't.
No.
But this bounty hunter, whose name is Ahab, nice reference to Moby Dick there. He can speak and he's intelligent, so he's a really big threat. And he is after K9 because K9 is a murderer. Dun dun dun.
I really loved that scene too, where Griffin's like, "Well, what are you hunting him for?" And he just leans in and goes, "Murder."
Yeah. Murder.
It's so funny. It's just so funny because it's so overdramatic.
Griffin is great because he's like the man professor trope, but that doesn't do him justice.
No, honestly, it's kind of hard to call him any sort of trope because he seems to be always outside of any boxes.
Yeah.
It's like the man does not go outside because he's agoraphobic, but he's perfectly willing to do everything he can to help these kids. He works for the department, but he has a good heart, and he's not willing to, always fall for their schemes.
Yeah.
And he's just a really caring, nice guy who just wants his family back.
Well, he didn't really have much choice in working with the department.
No, not really.
But he doesn't agree with them. He's perfectly happy to work against them as long as he's not caught. Like when he removed Starkey from the detention system back in episode 3. So yeah, he is a nice guy.
He's kind of like a rebel on the inside, I would say.
As opposed to Georgie, who's a rebel on the outside.
Pretty much,
yeah. Starkey and Georgie are obvious rebels. Griffin's a secret rebel, and Darius just wants to get on in life.
Yeah, Darius is like done with all this shit. He just wants to, kick back, relax, and maybe go out with
Georgie.
Just forgot her name.
Yeah, very, very much wants to go out with Georgie.
Georgie, thank
very
you.
much is crushing on Georgie.
Yeah, he's got it hard. But yeah,
one thing Darius does have though that he's got going for him, he's got a secret hideout.
Yeah, he does. It's in the sewers.
It's in the sewers, which is not great, but there's a great exchange where he's like,
by this point.
There's a great exchange between him and Starkey and Georgie, where she's like, "What's all this? Where did all this stuff come from?" "Oh, it fell off the back of a truck." Is it all of it? Well, not all of it. Some of it fell off the back of a van. Is it bad I started to warm up to Darius a little bit?
Yeah, if you start to like him a lot more, but the whole reason that they're down in the sewers is because Ahab, he has like this little voice analyzer that told him that Griffin was lying about K9 not being there. So he's like trying to get the information out of him. Griffin has this somewhat badass moment where he's like, "I don't care what you do to me, I am not telling you anything." And Ahab's little voice thing says,
subject telling the
truth. Oh, it's so cool. And then of course, it's a kids show, so a news story comes on where the department is and Drake is talking about how there's a robot dog who is a menace. That's exactly what Ahab's looking for. So he simply asks, how does he get in contact with the department? And Griffin says, look in a camera and ask for Drake.
Yeah, stick your alien moosh in front of it. You'll soon get their attention. Which he does.
Exactly what he does.
That's exactly what he does. He goes, "Hi."
Yeah. And it works too.
Yeah.
That's the best part, is that it actually works.
But rather than being arrested like most of the aliens are by the department and apprehended and put into some sort of prison cell, as we saw in episode 2, He just has a civil conversation with Inspector Drake.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they join forces. I mean, yeah. I mean, he could have been coerced because it's the department. But then again, Drake could have been coerced because Ahab could have killed him on the spot.
Yep. Either way, they working together. It's not good. They're going to use the extensive network of cameras and spying equipment that the department has in order to find K9. So that's why they're hiding out in the sewers, because Starkey and the others were told about this, and they're like, not happening.
I've got in my notes here, June starts to show a bit of humanity. I'm not sure what that's about.
That is because at this point, she and Drake are talking about K9 and the Department Mobile HQ. Drake is saying, there's a dangerous alien device out there and you're not taking care of it. And June is like, I am taking care of it. He's not dangerous. You need to calm your shit.
That's it.
This is my department. Stay the fuck out.
That's it. That's the humanity she starts to show, yes.
Yeah. And we get our first look at the mysterious man behind the glass. Well, sort of. There's essentially a guy called Lomax, and he sort of controls the department.
Yeah.
But you never see his face because he's hidden behind a pane of glass, and all you see is a shadow.
Sorry, I'm just smiling because I know what he's all about, but I don't want to reveal it to everyone.
I have to ask, how far in the series did you actually get?
I've seen the whole thing.
Yes, you know what I mean then. We'll talk more after.
I know. One of us, but
yay, Google gobble.
If you are gonna watch this series, it's not right to spoil what's going on with Lomax ultimately. So
no,
we won't do that.
It's not right to spoil anything really, but obviously if you're watching this, you know that there's going to be spoilers.
Yes, I would hope so anyway. I mean, we've done nearly 100 of these. I think they'd like. I would like to think they know what's going on by now.
Well, you never know. There might be that one person who sees, hey, I've never heard of this K9 show.
Oh dear, yeah.
They pop in, and it turns out to be episode 3.
We're sorry there, one person.
Sadly, you came in a little too late. Maybe stop watching now while you still.
But there's a... While Kat tells off our hypothetical person here, there's a quite heart-rending moment in the sewer where K9 has started to decompress some of his memories. And we see the same scene from before with Xanthus. And then there's a cut, and then Xanthus' corpse is burning on the ground.
Yeah, he's literally a pile. They show a dead body on this show. For kids!
Yeah, it's for kids. I think I've said this before, but I think children are tougher than we give them credit for.
Oh, yeah. I was actually having a discussion with my friend Chris last night about this, how you have to be willing to show kids these sorts of things. Like, even if they're really young, you have to know an age-appropriate way to discuss this sort of thing. Like, you could have a parent who's going to be lost by some incident. You could have an animal that is lost. You could have someone run away from home. You can have, someone get in a terrible accident. They get injured. Maybe they become disabled. Maybe you have someone who's born disabled.
Yeah.
These are all things that you need to be not only able to, but willing to talk to kids about. I know I've got really deep about the fact that this is a show about a talking mechanical dog from Doctor Who, but that's still my feelings on this whole thing.
You don't need to apologize. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a children's show, but it does have a more mature center to it.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to keep your kids innocent, that's fine. But you also have to realize that at a point, they're going to see stuff like this, and you can't always control what they watch.
It does not shy away from the darkness at all.
No, it does not.
Particularly in later episodes, my goodness.
Yeah, because you saw the Black Hunger thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean.
That is quite the eye opener if you think this is a standard kids show.
Yeah.
And you watch Black Hunger, oh my god.
But back to this one. So, K9's defragging. He's trying to see get his memories back. He gets that one clip. So it goes straight from Xanthus talking to him to the remains. So automatically K9 determines that he's guilty, and he's obviously the one who needs to be taken to justice. So he immediately leaves the safety of the sewers, puts on his homing beacon, I believe, no, he trips a motion detector.
He intentionally trips a motion sensor, yes.
Yeah, and that allows the department to come and find him.
Cue Drake and the incompetent robot coppers, yeah.
Yep. And they manage to grab him. Kano comes in and essentially he leashes K9, which is a little bit of a weird thing, but that's what he does. He definitely puts a leash on K9.
And speaking of weird, I think it was part of the deal between Ahab and Drake. You know, said Ahab and Jackson there, good going. Ahab and Drake, where Ahab will take K9 and the children to Griffin's lab. Quite why he lets him do this.
It's weird. Essentially what happens is the original agreement was that Ahab would give Drake all the secrets of K9 as long as Ahab could take in K9 for the bounty. But we get this weird scene where June is in the mobile HQ talking to Drake remotely, and Drake says that Ahab tricked him and took the kids and K9 back to the lab with that, and like disabled all of his guards and things. And it's like, I would have liked to see that, but
yeah, that would have been good to see that.
Constraints. They're under time constraints. It's a kids show. We understand.
Plus, I think they're trying to protect the big twist that's about to come up. So,
yep.
K9 on the leash. He's been taken to the lab laboratory by Ahab. The kids are in tow, and just magically at that point, the screen has completely decoded K9's memory of the Xanthus Pyre incident. Lo and behold, Ahab killed him the entire time.
They give a bullshit reason where the leash that's on K9 is like super, super cold, and that super cools K9 to the point that he can recover his memories.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's still kind of stupid because of the camera angle is so weird because the dude's talking to K9, not to Ahab.
But amazingly, the guy looks like Kano. Turns out he destroyed someone with a laser like Kano.
Who would have thought it?
And then there's a great bit here for Georgie.
Yes. Georgie's so smart in this, and I love it.
So they're saying, K9, you're not a murderer. Fight back. But he says, my system is too weak to resist the weapon, the device.
It's too cold, mummy.
Yeah, it's too cold. It's super conductive cold. And then Georgie says,
realistically, this is just the same thing that happened in the last episode where he got too cold.
Yeah, Griffin has been drinking this cup of tea for about the past 20 minutes. And Georgie says, Professor, is that tea still warm? Yes, it's boiling hot. Thank you. Grabs it, throws it on the device. It shuts out.
So smart.
And Ahab goes, it's even better than that. Ahab goes flying into the time warp. So she saves K9 and she gets rid of the bounty hunter in one fell swoop.
And it's fantastic. Although, I will say, his fate is super dark.
Oh, God. Do you remember I said this is pretty hardcore for a children's show? So, the beam took him to the exact place 50,000 years in the future. One small problem with that.
The problem is, planets move.
Planets move and don't exist anymore, so, he just asphyxiates in space.
Yeah! He gets thrown into fucking space!
And you see it?
And Griffin just because Darius is talking to him, saying what's stopping him from coming back. And Griffin's like, oh, he got sent 50,000 years into the future, but planets move.
Yeah.
It's like, yay, a man is dead.
And there's one other important bit that becomes significant for later on.
Yes.
After that happens, after he's been sent away, Ahab, to his fate, Jim comes in. You think, oh, she's about to arrest everybody. But no, she gives official responsibility of K9 to Professor Griffin.
Yay!
They're the official
It's the
K9
official
unit.
K9 team.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's why I kind of like to call this one the fourth part of the original story.
It is, yeah,
So,
because
parts 1, 2, and 3, this is kind of a continuation because it finally sets up the whole official thing.
we've now set up the new status quo
Yes.
and established our key characters.
Yes, exactly.
And sent an alien bounty hunter to oblivion.
Yay, murder!
That's metal as hell, that really is.
It is. It is so metal. And
It's
like,
the fact they show it.
that would happen.
They don't just talk about it, as I thought they were going to.
No.
They show him get beamed into space and screaming.
Well, he doesn't scream for that long.
No, because it cuts away to the credits.
To be fair.
But
yeah. But it's still, we get to see a man start to slowly die.
We get to see a man die, yes.
What the hell?
That's what this children's show needed, murder.
Oh, man. I will say, though, that this is actually also a really good episode for some of the Easter eggs that they have. Like, during some of the news clips, they have one of those little banners that runs at the bottom that gives different information.
Oh, yes.
And one of the items that I saw in there was that there was a report that a man called Mr. Smith won the lottery, but they're asking for information on who he is. Cause they
Oh,
don't
you
know.
cheeky bastards. I see what you did there. Writing team.
Yeah.
We can't have the Doctor in this show, so let's just write him in anyway.
There was another one I saw that I wasn't able to quite catch it. But if you watch those banners, so sometimes you'll just see some random cool stuff just hanging around.
Anyway, we go from the cool stuff of the bounty hunter to the not so cool stuff of Sirens of Ceres.
Yeah, this one is real. It's a lame episode.
This is the lemon of the bunch, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, but if you could get through this one, you could get through the rest of the series easily.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's perhaps the absolute worst the series has to offer, but it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
And I think it's also possibly down to personal preference.
The absolute worst.
And I'll explain why as we go on.
The episode of the series is definitely the clip show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
There's always a clip show.
Oh, we're contracted for 26 episodes. We only have 25. I'll throw on a clip show. They won't notice.
Well, they only got one season anyway, so.
The only good one was in Power Rangers, where they've played Japanese Sentai footage to the Power Rangers. That was pretty good. It's like, hey, you're meant to be invented to a TV show in Japan. Why are they speaking in that language? It's Japan.
Oh, I love it. But, yes, Sirens of Ceres. This one starts off with the smallest protest I've ever seen. It's literally one woman, well, I guess technically a young lady.
It's one teenage girl.
Teenager. Sitting in the middle of a abandoned street with a sign on that says, like, stop the violence or something like that. And she has tape over her mouth.
I think it's Stop the Silence on CCPC Violence or something like that. But
yeah, something like that. Smallest protest ever.
And as you can expect, it's quickly broken up by the department. Drake is there to arrest her in person. Starkey and Georgie are watching this, and they're like, "We've got to do something." So Starkey starts recording the illegal arrest, and then Georgie, for whatever reason, lobs a stone at one of the officers.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because the entire reason that she gives for doing this is because it was Sunday, and she was bored.
She says it's fun. She says to K9, who's also there, "I'm having fun," and then it causes K9 to reevaluate his idea of the word fun.
He has like a full-on conniption because he's like, "The fuck is this lady talking about?"
It's like Kale. I can't remember what it says on like the screen on K9 Vision, but it's really funny. It's like question marks are all over the place.
It is very funny.
That bit's funny. So now Georgie is about to be arrested by the coppers as well because, she attacked one of them. The recording is confiscated. And then another couple of...
Starkey does the stupidest thing ever there, and he says, I've got illegal footage of you guys doing police brutality, and one of them just comes up and takes it out. It's like, okay,
not anymore, you haven't.
Why would you say that? Why would you tell them that?
But they surrender to the robots. The robots do not stop. Another couple of robots show up. One of them's carrying this strange beam weapon. Like massive science fiction laser cannon.
Yeah, and then another robot takes some sort of green stuff and jams it in, and then they fire it at the kids.
But they clearly didn't calibrate the special beam cannon well enough because it explodes and takes the robot with it.
Yeah, that robot did.
Well, it's never alive to begin with, but yeah. I like how it's just
either way.
Its legs are just remaining and they don't fall over.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And then Drake crushes his cane. Because he's called Drake, he's got like a dragon end cane. And he crushes the end of it. And I can't remember if he does this quite a few times throughout the episodes. I think he possibly does. That seems strange.
They make it kind of obvious in this episode that spoilers ahead, but honestly, if you were paying attention, you would know this because they make it so goddamn obvious. Because later on they play machine sounds whenever he moves his left arm.
Yeah.
Can anybody guess why his left arm would be making machine sounds?
Can anyone guess how he was able to crush a cane with one arm?
They make it really obvious.
They do.
I'm sure there were some stupid ass kids who were just like,
it's not,
wow, I wonder how he
it's not made better by his bad acting.
No.
Like
they do eventually get a better antagonist, who actually is a bit of a threat. Drake is just kind of, he's Draco Malfoy for real.
Drake's replacement can actually act as a villain, so he's fine.
And he's fantastic.
And I don't know if it was the actor at fault or just that he was given bad directions to work with, but this character is just badly acted. I'm sorry, he just is.
I think it's this episode. Just this episode in general is just a little blech.
Yeah, but his acting throughout the whole of the episodes he's in is not the best. But here in particular, he's very bad. Anyway, June comes home to find Georgie at home. She's got a headache. She is very concerned because she said, "Why did you attack a robot cop with a rock?" And I think she gives the "I was bored" excuse again. And there's a good heart to heart where she's like, "You're protesting for the sake of protesting. You're rebelling for the sake of rebelling. It's all I could do to keep you out of jail." It's Starkey, isn't it?
She blames Starkey.
Yeah.
She blames Starkey.
And there's a great bit where they keep turning on and switching the light on and off. Like June wants to touch, switches it on. Georgie switches it off again.
It's like, there's this old Tumblr post, which I don't know if you've seen it or not, where it's like, imagine a horror movie where you have a clapper and the serial killer is chasing you while you're both aggressively clapping to keep the lights on.
I think I've seen that Tumblr post.
It is so funny.
I was also thinking of Homer Simpson with the light switch. Fight!
Oh, but yeah, it's kind of an amusing scene.
Anyway, Inspector Doofus has a solution. Instead of sending Georgie to jail, he suggests to June that he enroll her instead in Magdalen Academy, which is this sort of last chance school for young tearaways.
Yep.
And then we just cut 2 weeks later and she's in the school. And here is one of the things I have to mention, right? This show is set in the UK, isn't it? Set in London.
That's what they're trying to get across, yes. Obviously, they fail on some parts, but yes, it's supposed
Well, they're doing this thing where Georgie's not wearing her uniform proper to show that she's still a rebel, where somehow half her shirt's tucked into her skirt, half of it's just hanging out. Having been to UK secondary school myself, they would never allow anyone to do that.
Knowing what little I do about UK secondary school, I can agree that this is incredibly unrealistic.
Uniform and discipline was a major part of high school.
Yeah, it's like even here in America, if there's a school that has a specific uniform, they are stupid strict
And at
about it.
least in my experience, for the most part, the children the students where I went, they all adhered to it.
Yeah,
There
well,
was no
to be
rebelling.
fair,
There was no cause to rebel.
we do learn very, very early on that this is not your normal school when they decide to shock the shit out of Georgie's
Oh
kid.
my god, this is horrifying. So the teacher's not even
It's
there. The teacher is just monitoring from a view screen from a remote location. But every
Yep.
time one of the students, and they're all female by the way, but in the class they're all no, in the class they're all female, but not in the school.
At least at the table that Georgie sits
Yeah,
at.
and the protester
Is
is there
usually
as
all
well.
female.
Vivica. She's got a weird name.
Vibica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vivica.
Ribbon.
Yeah. She's there as well because she chose that over going to prison, as you do. And Georgie gets shocked, as you've rightly said, Kat. But there's this strange group of girls. And we're introduced to Milena, and my brain kept correcting her name to Melania.
Yeah, you're not alone, but this is a very Stepford Wives situation where her and her two little flunkies seem to act exactly the same. Like, exactly the same.
This is Stepford Wives mixed with Mean Girls, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
I mean, technically, it kind of is. You know, random girl comes in, doesn't fit in.
This is just the Stepford Plastics.
Hot girls or whatever. Yeah.
Melania's study group is just the Stepford Plastics.
Yeah. So obviously they're evil.
Yeah,
kind of
obviously. But there's something more going on with Melania, because Melania, I can't even say the damn name. Regina George getting hit by a bus. There's something off about Melania because she's and this is another thing I think the episode does wrong. It's got Drake in like a sort of a van off site, and he's monitoring Melania, and then she laughs a higher pitch, and then she laughs an even higher pitch, but he's controlling the pitch.
Yes.
This would be a better episode if you didn't show that.
Yeah, probably.
Because it gives away the twist really too quickly. It gives away what's happening far too quickly.
So the department's mobile HQ is the set that June and Drake and eventually Thorne and others are most commonly seen in. It is, you see it later, it's like this big hulking, almost bus-like thing. But on the inside, it is so obviously a repurposed metro or underground train car.
Yeah.
It has, like, the backward seats that are super uncomfortable. It's got the strange poles. It's got the luggage racks. It is just that. And it's hilarious every single time I see it.
Yeah. Anyway, Georgie completes her first day at the new school. She's had a really bad time. She goes back to the mansion. The only one that will give her any time is Darius, and he's just flirting with her about the uniform.
Yep. I think he says that she looks like she's from a manga, actually.
Yes, he does.
It's very weird. But yeah, while that was happening, essentially what we find out is that K9 had some issues when he got struck by the alien goo. He can't float anymore. And Griffin is very annoyed with Starkey for letting this happen.
Georgie.
For some reasons, well, no, he's annoyed with both of them. Because I believe he assumes that Starkey is the one who started it. And Starkey doesn't seem to want to explain to him that really it was not his fault. It was Georgie who threw the stone, and that's the reason that they got in trouble in the first place.
Yeah.
Starkey was just standing there filming, and it wasn't going to get involved. But he doesn't protect himself. But yeah, she comes in, and she's like, I thought corporal punishment didn't exist. I had a bad day in my private school. And they're both like, he lost his wife and kids. I don't have any parents, and I'm technically on the run from the government. The hell are you complaining about?
But Starkey is kind of a dick in this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, she
yeah.
doesn't tell me about the fact that, she's being zapped with a laser. Perhaps,
Yeah, I would be a little bit more concerned
perhaps if
about
she
that.
said that she was being shot, he might be a bit more sympathetic to her cause.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. She doesn't because,
You would think
again,
he wanted
time
to look
constraints.
into that.
But back at the school, then she goes there, and suddenly Vivica, her, uh, she's suddenly
The
compliant.
professor. Yeah, she's compliant. She's wearing her uniform correctly. Her hair is styled in the exact same way.
As the plastics, yeah. She's selected to speak for the class by the remote teacher. Georgie gets shocked because she's late, I think, and then gets shocked again when she tries to contact Starkey.
Yep.
What
So
is
he
going on at this
decides that
school?
he's
Who
just
is
gonna
allowing
come
it to
over.
happen?
Yeah, seriously.
Where are the inspectors? Not
We
the
fi-
department inspectors, the school inspectors.
we find out pretty quickly that the department is behind this school, so it's kind of obvious why.
Well, we
But
knew that from the beginning, really, when Drake suggested that June send Georgie to it. But
yeah.
it's also a bit strange how June doesn't seem concerned about what's going on. I mean, they don't even show the fact June that much after the confrontation between her and Georgie, and after she's talked to Drake. And there's one scene between them where Georgie comes home from school and she's not happy, and June just sort of leaves her to herself. She doesn't give her a hard time that time, which is good to see a bit of development. But I would have liked to have seen maybe June realise that something was going on because, her daughter was first really, really unhappy, and then later on is a completely different person.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is also strange because I assume it's break time. So the students are all there. Starkey breaks into the school, and nobody bats an eyelid.
Nope. He also does a silly little prank where he changes the motto of the school to punishment is detention or detention is sin or something like that.
I think that's how Georgie realises he's first there. But he just turns up in full civilian clothing. None of the students are particularly alarmed that he's there. Vivica starts flirting with him.
Yeah, like super hard too. It's like kind of uncomfortable.
And he returns the favour. Georgie can't believe he's there, even though she contacted him. That's a bit of a strange plot hole. Again, though, not like a UK school because they took intruders on the premises really seriously.
Yeah.
Like schools
Especially
have
one who just broke in.
If they don't have security, they at least have like a janitor or groundskeepers. They have staff basically that they will look after the school.
I could probably hand wave this away and say that they probably thought that the force field that Starkey encounters would be enough. However, you would also think that there'd be cameras all over the place and they'd be able to see him immediately and escort him off the premises.
Plus, Drake's is watching the whole thing.
Yeah, you'd think that they would notice that.
He doesn't react.
No, it's very strange.
Yeah, it's bad. Anyway, at this point, Georgie has noticed that there is a strange bracelet on Vivica, and indeed on the rest of all the other plastics, including Milena.
She doesn't quite understand why that is just yet, but she knows that they all have that bracelet.
Yeah,
at least.
She doesn't visit the group this time. She just goes back home. That's her looking upset scene that I talked about with her and June. Yep. Meanwhile, the professor has figured out what's going on with the strange substance that affected K9. It's ceruleum. What is ceruleum? Well, it's this strange alien substance where it makes people obedient, compliant. Basically, it takes away their free will. And they tell this weird lore story.
Talk about dominant and sub relationships with BDSM.
Yeah, and the fact that it got the entire planet destroyed.
Yep. Thankfully, it was all consensual because apparently this ceruleum will not work on an unwilling person. It will only work on someone who fully accepts it.
That's another plot hole because
Yay consent? Question mark?
yay consent. But the thing is that Starkey was not willing, but he was starting to be overcome by the ceruleum on Vivica's bracelet.
Oh, that honey, that wasn't the bracelet. That was hormone.
Oh, I've just realised there is a very funny scene here where the professor realises that Starkey's in love with someone. He doesn't know it's Vivica because he's not met Vivica, but he's in love with someone, and he has a conversation with K9. And K9 says, "There's no such thing as love. It's all to do with like this complicated hormone." He just goes, "No wonder you're single."
Oh, jeez. But yeah, Starkey's just feeling the love. I would ask if you had ever been a teenage boy, but I know you have, so you should know better.
Well, of course I've been a teenage boy.
Yeah, it's this kid who has been on the run, who finally has a chick who's showing him positive romantic intention. So, just saying.
Yeah. And then we go back to the school again, and it's this point that Milena basically hatches her plot. She's got a gift for Georgie. It's a bracelet. And Georgie, despite knowing something's going on, despite the whole thing, like it can't enslave an unwilling subject, just puts it on.
Yep.
And yeah, she falls under its influence immediately.
To be fair, Griffin or K9 are explaining this to Ceruleum while she's putting the bracelet on.
Yeah, that's quite good.
So it's two separate scenes.
Yeah, you're right. So she puts the bracelet on, and then she does turn back up at Griffin Laboratories, and she's completely different.
Yep.
And they have the not so subtle.
She's actually flirting with Darius.
She's flirting with Darius. She's wearing the uniform properly, complete with the sleeveless jumper. Before it was just shirt, tie, and skirt, and the shirt was all over the place. Now she's immaculate. Her hair's done differently. She's flirting with Darius, and they realise, okay, what's going on here? Thankfully, K9 has recovered long enough to zap the bracelet with his laser, and that snaps Georgie out of it immediately.
Yep.
We don't get an apology from Starkey, because, she was right the entire time. There was something going on with the school that was weird.
Yeah. It turned out to be mind control.
Yeah. So, actually, her concerns were completely justified.
So, are we sure that this took place in London and not America? Because brainwashing a whole bunch of kids at a school sounds very familiar. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm not going to go there, because...
I will. Save me.
I'm just not going to go there.
Someone please save me.
But they it's not a subtle touch, but I do like the fact that they show you visually that she's been turned by her actually wearing the full uniform. Yep. She goes back to the school then the next morning. This time the team's now working with her. And she says, I love my bracelet. I'd love to get one for my mother. She makes a mistake because Drake immediately realises, oh, she's not under the influence, get her. So the girls just turn on her, push her to the ground.
Yep.
K9 shows up and removes the bracelets, destroys the bracelets, and stuns the people wearing them.
I mean, he could have done that in the first place.
He could have done, but then we wouldn't have an episode.
I know. But
so he one by one he knocks out Milena's henchwomen, and there's just the Queen Bee herself left, but not for long because Drake says something like "Farewell, sweet Milena," and then just shuts her down because she's a robot.
Yeah, and that was a really creepy bit to me because she's supposed to be a teenager.
He is a creep.
Saying that.
Drake is a creep.
It's just a very creepy line.
But she was a robot similar to the CCPCs.
Yeah.
And he deactivates
Even
her.
to the point of having a little department logo on the back of her neck. It's like, nobody noticed that?
Yeah. And if she was a robot, why did she have a proper bracelet on? It wouldn't affect her.
My guess is that it was just to throw people off the scent.
Georgie had a fake bracelet when she went back to the school the last time. Anyway, breaking the spell means that Vivica's no longer in love with Starkey. What a shame.
Oh no, whatever will we do?
And that's it. I mean, presumably the school is shut down off camera.
One can only hope. As
all the students realise we've been brainwashed, and also there was a robot amongst us the entire time.
Yeah, and apparently Georgie throws out this line that nobody remembered what happened during the 2 weeks they were being brainwashed, so that is a thing.
Yeah. So Serens of Sarah is not very good. But the next episode that we'll touch on, rather good. Fear Itself.
Yes.
Which starts with Darius being locked in a cupboard.
Yes, exactly where he belongs.
No. It should be Starkey that was locked in the cupboard after what he did to Georgie in the last episode.
Yeah, honestly, he should be. But yeah, so Darius has a couple of different interests. He likes to try to find stuff to fix up. He likes to try to make a quick buck. And he has his taxi Mariah, who he fixes up as well. So he's in a junkyard, just, looking around for stuff when he's confronted by two people. They're, obviously homeless, vagrants, hobos.
Yeah, they're credited as vagrants, I think.
Yeah. And they say that they own the junkyard. This is their spot. How dare you encroach on their spot? And, he decides to be witty, asks to see their papers, to see if they actually own the building. And, of course, they're not happy with that. So they take him and they lock him in a cupboard.
And while he's in the cupboard,
bottom opens up.
Yeah, while he's in the cupboard, he undergoes a waking nightmare. So
Narnia's angry.
Yeah, really angry, and it wants Darius' soul.
Zool.
He is.
That's all I can think of now is Zool coming out of
He is eventually rescued. He is eventually rescued, taken out of the cupboard. The vagrants claim they did it on the TV cameras. The Scooby Gang is watching from Griffin's laboratory, but then they're very concerned when Drake shows up and shuts the interview down.
Yes.
So why is the department around this strange wardrobe, and why is Darius acting like he's just had a near-death experience?
And it's even weirder because Starkey, who has been living there, wakes up because he feels frightened. And so does Griffin, and that's the whole reason that they're downstairs in the first place.
Yeah.
There's like a mass wave of fear going out to everybody.
There are riots taking place in the city, as June later explains. Mass panic.
Panic, mass hysteria, dogs and cats living together, so on and so
Basically,
forth.
Yeah. So, Georgie and Starkey coerce Darius into coming with them to check out the wardrobe again. Darius doesn't want to do it, and to be honest, considering the fact that he thought he just was about to die, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
There is a great bit where K9 distracts the two robot cops that are guarding it by saying, there's a 29C in progress.
Regulation 29D.
Yeah, 29D, and that's unauthorized sandwiches at a picnic. These cops are so dumb.
Well, that is both a great joke, but also Georgie confirms that's an actual thing. There's an actual law for that. This place is fucked up.
Yeah. Because, we're in a fascist hell world here, but when Drake turns up anyway, because the 29D has failed, they put poor old Darius back into the wardrobe to hide, and Narnia probably tries to kill him again.
Yep.
They do eventually manage to get him out, but by this time, Drake has turned up, but he doesn't arrest them. Strangely enough, he seems to be gripped by fear. His gun says, "Did you see it? See what? The alien." And they're like, "Well, what alien? There wasn't an alien." They take advantage of the fact that Drake is distracted to run away, and he doesn't try to chase after them or send the CCPCs after them. So you immediately tell something is off with Drake in this episode. He's preoccupied by something else.
Yeah, something is definitely up here, and it's not good. to the point that Drake actually goes in front of the wardrobe and starts screaming at it. And it's just like, holy shit. What's
Yeah.
going on?
When we even see the door open and this black
And
hand come out,
Ah!
and
I love
Drake
it.
is terrified of it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it so much.
Yeah. Anyway, back at the mansion, back at Griffin's mansion, Griffin and Kanan have worked out what's going on. Something is spreading fear, and the reason why the wardrobe opened up to a bottomless pit for Darius is that Darius is claustrophobic. And they taunt him for it, which again is dickish.
Yeah, it's a real dickish moment. You know, at the very least, you know, Darius is growing up, but it also seems that they're trying to keep the antagonism going.
There is nothing particularly embarrassing about having a phobia. I know, yeah, it's an irrational fear, but you still have it.
Yeah, it's like I have a severe phobia of spiders to the point where I can't even talk about them without being like, ooh.
Yeah.
And it's like I know that my friends won't make fun of me for that.
I've got one of Wasps and Hornets, which was really a really fun time when that meme image of the horns with that hornet with the massive knockers turned up all over my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
That was a fun night.
And I do apologize for linking that to you.
No, you didn't know. It wasn't just you.
Yeah.
It was all over my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Everywhere I turn, it's like, oh god, I don't
like...
want to see this image again.
Yeah, there's some people who are assholes out there about that, but you know.
Yeah. Like Starkey here in this episode.
Yeah.
We didn't get two scenes, one at the mansion and one between June and Inspector Drake. The one at the mansion first is that they're trying to explain what fear is to K9. K9, of course, is a robotic dog. He has no concept of fear. So their idea of trying to teach him about fear is for Starkey to dress up with a knife through his head and Georgie to dress up as a Halloween skeleton.
It's like they're not even trying. It's literally like the costume department ran out of stuff to give them. So Starkey has like a sheet on his back. He's carrying around one of those weird flashlights they have. Has a fake headband.
Yeah, Georgie looks alright as the skeleton, but the knife through the head just looks daft.
Yeah, it's just.
But she says like we're having fun with you because fun takes the fear away. Which, yeah, she's got a point.
Yeah.
It takes your mind off the fear. It doesn't take it away, but it takes your mind off of it.
Yeah. And it's like there seems to be three very different factions among the kids, where Darius is absolutely terrified and is falling into the fear. Georgie is kind of scared, but she's still willing to move forward. And Starkey just doesn't believe it's real at all.
We don't find out what Georgie's fear is really in this episode. She does make a reference to when they're at the wardrobe saying, do you feel that? So I feel like my mother's watching me interfere with CCPCs in broad daylight. So it could be that her great fear is her mother. It could be.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe something like her mother fully believing the department.
Yeah, which because as we know she doesn't. Yeah. But Georgie doesn't know this.
Yeah, she has a heart. She
definitely has a heart. Georgie doesn't know this, and she also gets to taunt Inspector Drake here because he said like there's alien technology in that wardrobe. She's like, all right, well I'll take a look. She scans the whole thing, and there's nothing.
Yep.
And he's like, I think you've been working too hard. Maybe you should take some stress leave.
Yep. And honestly, what it all boils down to is Drake's afraid of aliens.
Yeah.
He's extremely xenophobic.
At some point, I can't remember exactly how it comes about, but he locks up Starkey temporarily.
Well, Starkey comes back to the wardrobe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Starkey goes on his own to the wardrobe for some stupid reason to investigate it, and that's when they catch him. He's not arrested. He has a confrontation with Drake, and Drake's like, "What do you know about the wardrobe?" So I don't know anything about it because there's nothing to know about. There's no alien. It's just fear, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be frightened.
Yeah. And he's like telling Drake that it's taking hold of you. Your own fear is what's making you see these things.
Yeah. And he even says to him, even though he's like the villain, he says, it's okay. It's all right to be scared.
Yep.
It doesn't make you a lesser person because you're scared. What makes him a lesser person is the fact that he hasn't got a soul, but...
Yeah, pretty much.
He doesn't tell him that.
It's during this part where he's questioning Starkey that you can really hear the mechanical noises of his arm.
Yeah. You definitely can.
I pointed it out.
And 5 minutes later, you find out why that is. But anyway, they decide that they're going to. The team decide they're going to send K9 to investigate the wardrobe and find out what's in there, if anything. He needs Darius to come with him because Darius is the most fearful. Even K9's dunking on poor Darius at this point.
I know.
This is kicking the puppy.
I like the way your attitude completely shifted from last time. Last time you were like, fuck Darius, and now you're like, poor Darius.
Yeah, because he had character development.
Yeah, exactly.
He has character development in later episodes that shows why he is like he is. He is, I will say this, he's one of the better written characters.
Yes. Last Precinct.
Oh, God, yes.
Is that what it was called? Yes.
Yeah.
That episode, holy shit.
That really gives you insight into Darius. Yes. And why he is who he is.
If anybody out there is watching this and they haven't watched the K9 series yet, go watch it.
That's one of the ones I would recommend. That and Taffany in the Time Loop are right up there.
Yes, oh my gosh, that was so good.
But moving back to Veer itself then.
Yes.
So, in the end, Darius doesn't go because he's too frightened. And again, that's completely understandable. It kind of forgets its own lesson here. Like, it's okay to be afraid. Starkey goes with him instead, and Georgie says to him, well, what are you afraid of? He doesn't answer, but he can open the wardrobe. He has some fear. So K9 goes in. It's just a black void, basically.
Yep.
Except it isn't, because after he's gone down a certain number of feet, a Jixen appears in front of him.
Oh, no.
And even though he's a robot, K9 is scared of this thing, and his senses are all shutting down.
Well, let's also be fair. K9 is the only one who can see this. Everybody else just sees a blank screen.
Oh, you're right, because
Griffin's
monitoring it on from the mansion with Darius, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he can't see anything.
Has, their little iPod things.
Yeah.
That they're using to talk to him as well.
I can't remember if he actually sees the Jixen when it shows up. I don't think he does. I think it's, as you say, it's a black screen.
Yeah, Griffin and the others keep saying there's nothing there. It's just a black screen. And K9's like, no, it's a Jixen. Ah.
Yeah. And while that's going on, and Georgie's standing guard, Drake turns up with 4 CCPCs. They're going to drop a bomb.
Yep.
Just drop a bomb into the wardrobe.
To kill the aliens.
Yeah, even though there are no aliens. And it says, K9's down there, you'll destroy him. And if you destroy him, you'll get your technologies. Oh, that's collateral damage I'm prepared to live with. No, it isn't, because your whole purpose is to get K9 for his technology.
I think at this point, Drake was just so scared that he was like...
Yeah, okay, his fear is making him act irrationally. I understand that. That's fine. It's strange how the villain gets development here, and it actually works quite well. He still can't act, but the development works quite well. Anyway, they are successful in convincing him to not drop the bomb. Starkey tries to stop them from arming the bomb. Georgie just gets a metal pipe and hits one of the cops with it. Which is badass again.
Yeah. Although it's kind of weird because in the previous episode there were obviously consequences for her attacking a CCPC. Now it's just like, oh, okay, sure, go ahead. Hit him.
Yeah. Well, Drake's so fixated on the hole, on blowing up the wardrobe, that I don't think it even matters to him at this point. So they get away. The cop makes a comical "oh" noise as it's hit on the head. Again, it's worth bearing in mind, this is a robot. It's not a person. It is a robot.
Can't feel pain.
It says it can.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Sort of.
Enough.
K9 is still on the fritz, but he convinces himself. He has a flashback to what Starkey told him about some fear's not real, but you still see it. So it says, you're not real, you're not real. And the Dixon vanishes and explodes. So it was never actually there to begin with.
Yep, and thankfully K9 manages to get out in time before he also
But not
explodes.
before we have a horrible fake out where Starkey and Georgie are running the mansion. Professor, get K9 out there! Drake's going to drop a massive explosion.
Oof, yes.
And Griffin's distraught. He thinks K9's been destroyed. And K9's fine. He's found a way out into a sewer pipe and he goes, whee!
And then he punks them all and says, "Oh, I knew the bomb was coming. I was making sure I
I
would be able
felt
to get
it,
out of there in
yes.
time. It's fine."
But while they have their happy reunion and George even instigates a group hug, and Griffin's not happy about this at all. Starkey immediately does it. Derek Sawyer does it because Georgie insists and because he's crushing on her. Griffin's got this great facial expression like, oh, go on then. But while that's going on, Drake confronts the wardrobe one more time.
Yep.
And he says, like, I've destroyed you, you are no more. But then the wardrobe finally speaks back to him.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, this is the first time we've heard anything coming out of the wardrobe in the entire episode. It's like, it's just things like, I am forever, I am your fear, despair, despair. And then Drake removes his glove, and as Kat was referring to earlier, metal hand.
Yay.
Screams, I've won, you are no more. Punches the wardrobe and it disintegrates with one punch.
Yep. And hey, Rainiac, you want to know what this reminds me of?
Is it Listen?
No. It reminds me of Revolution of the Daleks.
Okay.
Because there's somebody destroying a box that's bigger on the inside.
Oh, God.
Hey! And the best part is, this box that's bigger on the inside is in a junkyard.
Oh, no. That TARDIS had a family, damn it.
Another episode. It's almost like they planned this or something.
That TARDIS had a family, goddammit.
The TARDIS had 2 weeks till retirement.
And so this wardrobe. And they don't actually explain what's going on. I mean, spoilers, the entity does not appear again for the whole show. But
no.
It doesn't say whether or not the thing was destroyed. It screams and disappears. But you could interpret it that there never was anything, and it was all in Drake's mind.
I kind of like this, because it has that ambiguity.
Yeah, I like the fact it doesn't tell you.
Yeah, you get just enough that it could be real, but also just enough that it could be in their mind.
It could be either. It honestly could be either. But if it's not real, it means that Drake just put a bomb in a wardrobe.
Honestly, I think that from the wardrobe there was something heading down. There was actually a tunnel there. I just think it may have been something like, if it's not real, an open manhole cover.
There had to be something, because K9 gets out of it, and also he encounters the mirage of the Jixon Warriors. So something had to be causing it. Something had to be causing all the all the mass panics. But I do also like the interpretation that some of it could have been in Drake's head the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like in Listen, where they ruined it by showing the thing that sits up on the bed. And they don't do that here.
Yeah.
And again, this preceded Listen by about 5 years.
Hit me about that one.
Yeah. So that's Fear itself. I feel like with these 3 episodes, we get like a sandwich. Like we get a good top, a bad filling, and then a really good bottom.
Yeah. So we have good bread, Marmite, good bread.
Well, Marmite, you love it or you hate it. And I just hate Sirens of Sirius, so it's not Marmite.
That's right, bitches. I'm shitting on Marmite. Bring it.
I'm not gonna say anything. Marmite's horrible. In my opinion, because the whole marketing campaign of Marmite is you love it or you hate it.
Yeah, pretty much.
People really do.
Yeah.
And that's the end of our little further dig into K9.
Yep.
And I would recommend the whole series.
You know what, Rainiac? I have something. I noticed something that happened in Fear itself.
Oh boy.
And you remember what the wardrobe looked like, right?
Oh no.
It had a certain something on the face of it.
Oh no, it doesn't all.
So I went ahead and I made this for you.
Of course you did.
And let's hope that yes, it's sending over right now.
Oh, of course you did.
Go ahead and take a look at that. This is made especially just for you.
Especially for me, you shouldn't have. No, really.
But I did.
I'm not afraid of you! You are just a shadow! I'm a shadow!
God damn it, Cat! Jerry can't be with us today, but at least he's with us in spirit.
Worth it.
So he'd be proud. He'd be proud of you. He'd be proud of you if he were here alive. He'd be laughing his head off.
Well, it's okay. You'll put it in the video, then everybody will see it.
I'm just gonna cover it with 2 words. Exasperated sigh. I should have known when the whole session went off without a hitch. I should have known something like this was going to happen at the end.
Well, someone's got to keep the tropes alive.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say it. No, I refuse.
Well, I'll say it for you then.
All right, and now I'm mirroring you.
Fuck.
There we go.
But yeah.
So that was our last ever dig into Kane.
I can say that from here on, the series just gets better and better.
It really does.
There are just so many topics that this thing covers. There are so many different episode types that you could find. It's a great show.
If you saw the first 5 episodes and thought, well, this is a bit like a light, fluffy children's show, I won't bother with it. It doesn't stay like that.
No, it does not. No. There is a lot more murder than you would think.
I'm not giving it away. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just saying 2 words. Black hunger.
Yeah.
Just black hunger by itself. But
Yeah,
also
it's
Tiffany
like,
in the
if you get to
Time
that
Loop.
episode,
Also the
then-
one about Anubis.
Yes.
There's some dark stuff.
It is just fantastic.
The Last Precinct, as Kat said. And that's not even touching on the finale. Because, my God.
Oh, man, the finale. Ugh.
We can't even give you the title because it gives it away. But it's like old school Doctor Who.
It's like it obviously it can't use a whole lot of Doctor Who stuff just because, it doesn't have the copyright. But it does still reference a lot of Doctor Who things.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go into this thinking, oh, it's just a story about K9, there's not going to be anything doctorish, trust me, there's going to be. I mean, the Professor Griffin lives in a mansion that used to be a police station.
Yeah.
Because it still has the lamps outside that say police on top.
Yeah.
And they're styled exactly like the police box.
And there's actually a story where they explain why that is.
Yeah. And there's these little bits, apparently there's a piece of music that was the first 3 notes of the Doctor Who theme, and there's, all these mentions of these old monsters and things, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, but they can't use the old monsters, but they do a really good job, I think, of making their own new assets for the show.
Yeah.
Some of the monsters, some of the aliens are actually pretty good. And some are not.
Yes, some are definitely not.
Some are not, but
it's just one of those things where it's so sad that this has not gotten any of the attention that I think it should have.
Yeah. It's what do you call it? It would fit into a Doctor Who expanded universe, but I don't think it's canon.
No, I don't think it is either.
And here's another thing that'll blow your mind. The actress that plays Georgie went on to appear in like proper adaptations of what was it? It's like a proper Victorian novel. Oh God. It's not Vanity Fair, is it?
Pride and Prejudice, Vanity Fair, Little Women.
It's like a proper thing. Like she's a proper actress. Also, she was born in America, which may explain the slight discrepancy with the accent.
And we can also say that the person who plays K9 is the same as it was in Doctor Who. It's John Leeson.
Yeah, it's John
It's the
Leeson.
official K9 voice.
Howard's End.
So it's like,
It's Howard's End. She's Helen Schlegel in Howard's End, the miniseries that they made with
okay.
I want to say Emily Mortimer. I'd be wrong. It's Hayley Atwell.
She was also Nancy from Annabelle Creation.
Yeah. So she's gone on to have a decent career for herself after K9.
Yeah.
K9 was her first big television role, but she's gone to have a decent career after that. And also, for some reason, her account's suspended on Twitter, and I have no idea why.
Oh well, you never know.
I looked it up just for like research for the show tonight. It's like, I'll see if she's got a Twitter account, and it says, "And Twitter suspended this account," and won't tell you why.
It's like, if anybody here likes the Punisher TV series from 2017, guess what? Darius's actor was in that. He was Lewis Walcott.
They've gone on to do other things. Some of them, anyway.
He was also apparently Lee Harvey Oswald from 11/22/63.
Wow, really?
Cool. Yeah.
Really? That is cool.
That is very cool.
But I think that concludes our extra delve into K9. I don't think we're going to touch on this again.
Well, I still have a lot of blackmail I can use, so possibly.
Join us in 2 weeks' time.
At the very least, I'm very glad that you enjoyed it.
Join us in 2 weeks' time when I force Kat to watch Torchwood at gunpoint.
You don't have to point a gun at me. I'll probably do it anyways.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we don't know when Freezing Inferno will be back. We're not going to rush him.
No. So
we might do another mini one that doesn't count towards the episode count.
Yep.
And it might be Torchwood.
Again, if anybody out there wants to actually watch the K9 series, check in the description. They put all the episodes for free online. Yeah,
on Shout Factory, but you do have to use a VPN.
Yes, if you're outside of the US, I think.
Yeah, in the US you don't have to use it because it's a US site, but if you're outside the US like me, you can use a perfectly legal, and I'm not saying that like inverted commas. You can watch it perfectly legally by using a VPN and switching it to America.
It is actually fully legal. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's completely legal.
If you're not entirely sure, the very first episode is on YouTube for free.
I think, although this is not legal, but I think people have started uploading the other episodes to YouTube as well in 3 different parts, because apparently it got a Disney XD run.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so people have just recorded it off Disney XD and put it on YouTube. That's not strictly legal. I wouldn't personally recommend that myself, but more power to you if you do.
Yeah. The only episode I would say to skip is Mind Snap, which is the... What episode is this? The 22nd, I think?
It's in the 10s, I think. 7's for the House of Griffin. That's good. Watch that one.
Yeah. Mind Snap is episode 21. Skip that one.
You can skip that. You won't miss anything if you skip it. If you want to watch the whole thing, again, I'm not going to stop you.
No.
But
technically, it is part 1 of the 5-part ending. But again, it's a clip show. You won't miss anything.
Yeah, it is strikes up. Oh, we're contracted for 26 episodes. We have enough footage for 25. Throw in a clip show, boys.
Yeah, it's pretty much just there's an incident. K9 loses his memories. Everybody tries to jog his memories with a clip show.
Yeah, it's about as it's about as blatant an excuse for a clip show as you can get.
Yeah.
They're only good when they try and do something funny with it, like Power Rangers did. Like when the Green Ranger in RPM says, it has their mentor, Dr. K, basically showing them footage of and he says Ziggy says, "What's up with the explosion when we morph? Are you referring to the energy residue? I'm referring to the 6-foot fireball that erupts behind me."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I love referential humor like that.
Jeez. But yeah, take a look at it. It's fantastic. They're the average 30 minutes episodes. There's only 25 episodes, so you can easily knock that out.
Yeah,
in
26
a couple of days.
if you don't skip Mind Snap, but if you do, it's 25.
Well, it's 25 in total. It's 24 if you skip Mind Snap, I believe.
No, it's 26. There's 26 episodes, so it's 25 if you skip.
Oh no,
Mind
right?
Snap.
Because regeneration, right?
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here to correct you. But I will say that I went into this
when I'm absolutely correct.
I went into this the original podcast thinking I'm not going to like this at all, and Kat did manage to convert me. I wouldn't say it's my favourite show, but it's certainly not bad.
I'm so proud that you watched it.
The acting is a little suspect in places. Cough, Drake,
Yeah.
end cough. But it doesn't stop it from being enjoyable.
As long as you go in with the mindset that it's a kid's show, it's not going to be, like the next Citizen Kane. You can forgive some stuff.
Yeah.
Especially considering some of the bullshit that happened.
Yes. And that'll be a wrap then for this this extra little bit of a delve into K9. So we can be found at ReviewsDoctor on Twitter. You can still email us at goexterminateyourself@gmail.com. Yes, that's still a real email address.
It's real.
No, I haven't checked it in a while. I don't know if only Mike's email's still there or not, but
no, it's pretty barren.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, so.
And I can be found at the Maniac on Twitter.com. Kat can be found at Concave Usurper. She also sometimes streams video games at twitch.tv/Concave Usurper. We will be live streaming episode 100 whenever it happens, and Freezing the Fan is ready to come back and do it with us. But we don't know when that will be. We'll just say in the foreseeable future. Please don't rush us, because this is a major... This is a really serious thing that's happened. And it does need time. And do be kind to him. And please do show him some love as well, because he deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cliche because he's our friend, but he really is just a kind person. He didn't deserve this to happen to him, so just give him some space and help your thoughts out to him. I can't. I'm very bad at verbalizing when things like this happen. Sorry, but you know what I mean.
I can say is I don't know if Frez is going to actually listen to this or if he's going to watch this, but I'm going to say directly to you, Frez, you're a fantastic person, and we love having you on the show. We love being able to talk with you all the time.
Yeah.
We love your stupid jokes with the mirrors and everything.
Even me, you drive me to insanity with them, but I love them anyway.
But yeah, we hope that we'll be able to get the gang back together as soon as we possibly can, but obviously just, give us some time.
Yeah.
We're working on it, and we want to make sure that everybody is able to,
Please be patient, because we do want to do episode 100, and we do want to make a big thing of it, but only when everyone's good and ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And on that very somber note, thank you to Kat for both agreeing to do this little extra show with me, and for recommending K9 to me, because it really is surprisingly good.
Yes, and don't worry, those embarrassing pictures of you at last Christmas party are going to be in the mail, and you'll get them.
Thank God. And you said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet, but
no, it's fine.
Anyway, folks, thank you for listening to us, and until next time, whenever that may be, bye for now.